absolute notions. Okay. Hello, world. It's me, Ivana, your favorite 50-year-old trophy wife. And Catherine is on assignment, skiing and day jobbing and whatnot. So we have a very special guest today.
Hi.
We have Niamh Orbinski, who you are multi-talented. You literally wrote the book on redefining your relationship with your body and food called No Apologies. And we were just talking about this. We all need to apologize a lot less in this world. You are a certified yoga teacher. You are a trainee psychotherapist. Would you still have to explain to me a little bit more exactly what it is compared to the American version? Mm-hmm. And you have your own podcast called Food, Body, and Beyond. Body, Food, and Beyond? Which is
Food,
it?
Body, and Beyond.
Food, Body, and Beyond.
Good job.
Where do you even have the time to do all of these things? My God.
I feel like it's been a journey over 15 years, I guess.
Oh,
it builds.
Amazing.
It builds, you know.
I love it because that means that you're very organized, and that's something that I struggle with. Like I have this one and I'm like, whoo, everything in my power to get it together to do notions.
Yeah.
I am really happy that you are here because my beautiful Niamh here is so gorgeous and so kind and so smart. And you are my personal, private intuitive eating coach.
Yes.
Is what we call it. You call it a counselor, right?
Nutrition counselor.
And a nutritionist. I forgot. You're also a nutritionist.
Yeah.
I forgot one of your skills.
Yeah. So it started I trained as a nutritionist when I was 17. I went into it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's like high school.
From 15, it was all I wanted to do was to be a nutritionist. So it's been... Since then, I've just been building, layering on.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. So that is such a young age. Oh, let's talk about your early beginnings. Because when we were discussing this and planning this podcast, we were talking about how different our beginnings were in terms of body image and diet culture. Yeah. So Niamh is going to just shatter all your ideas and about diet culture. And you probably don't even know that we're living and consumed by, enjailed by a diet culture. So when you were little, tell me about when you were little growing up with your mom and your kind of ideas about your body. What was put upon you, if anything, growing up?
I feel like I had a really rare experience growing up. So my mom, she's very, my mom never dieted. It wasn't a thing where we talked about bodies. Yes, of course. I mean, every woman will give out about certain parts of their body, right? I think that's unfortunately really normal. But I had a really neutral upbringing around food and the body. And I think that put me in a really good place to, as an adult, as a teenager definitely, but as an adult to feel like I'm okay as I am.
Right, but what does neutral about your body even mean? She never was like, oh, that doesn't look good on you.
Yeah, she was never on diets herself. She would never talk about her own body in a derogatory way. She wouldn't have been in Weight Watchers or Slimming World or any of those slimming clubs that we have in Ireland. Right. That just wasn't a thing. Food was... We were totally free to have whatever we wanted. I asked my mum, actually, I had a conversation with my mum about this when I started moving into intuitive eating, counselling and specialising in that as a nutritionist. And I asked her, what was food like when we were kids? How did you feel about food? Now, my mum is so chill. She's horizontal. Yeah. And she told me the story of when I was 2. I think I was at Paddy's Day parade or something. And I was in a buggy and somebody handed me a chocolate bar. Mm-hmm. And there was this woman beside us that was horrified that my mom was giving me this chocolate bar. Mm-hmm. And mom was just she'll lick it, she'll take a bite and she'll drop it. Mm-hmm. Wow. No need to get fussy about it or get worried about it. Okay. And that is just the epitome of my childhood when it comes to food.
That's so amazing.
And I'm really passionate about preventing and healing disordered eating. And by the way, 75% of women have some level of disordered eating. And when I say disordered eating, we're not talking about eating disorders like clinical eating disorders. Right. We're just talking about the standard way that we all speak about food in our bodies, right? And especially, I think for, as adults now, maybe rearing children, young children, being around children, like maybe you're a teacher or maybe you have nieces or nephews. Like we have such power and such influence over kids developing relationship with food and their body and with themselves.
Yeah.
And the greatest gift that you can give a child is this unconditional love and support for their body, because that in adulthood puts them in such a better position.
That's so funny because I don't have a daughter, I have a son. Same thing, but my nieces will be on a boat or something, or like not a boat, but like a beach, whatever, like with boats. Anyway, you're in a bikini is my point. And I'll be like, oh my God, don't I look amazing in my body or whatever? I was doing this even before because I so want them to be like seeing a woman just loving her body, like, oh my God, aren't we gorgeous? This is what I'm talking about. Like places like that where it shouldn't be too humble, just be like, hey, my body works. Hallelujah. Right. I definitely didn't feel that way.
And I think at
Before.
the very least, you know, if it's not about appearance, but it's about functionality and it's about appreciating how our bodies can move. I mean, to get here, I walked today to get here. Isn't it
You're a
amazing?
hero.
Hero. Isn't it amazing that I have legs that bring me from A to B? So even if somebody has some hang-ups around what their body physically looks like, because I mean, let's face it, who doesn't?
Sure.
Even if you are absolutely stunning by traditional standards, you'll still have little hang-ups about your body, or you might still have been given those hang-ups from your parents or from school or from, you know, the environments that you grow up in or that you currently live in. But you can always fall back to, my body is breathing for me every day. My heart is beating every single second. It's keeping me alive.
It's also being in a state of gratitude.
Yeah. Yes. Which has benefits, as we know, like from
Oh my gosh, it
science.
gives you more things to be grateful for.
Yeah.
You attract more. Question, in your professional opinion or fact, what would somebody who has a disordered body image, in case somebody doesn't know that they fall into this, because it is so normal. So show me what somebody who might have disordered eating and a disordered body image, what is their behavior? And show me then in contrast somebody who's maybe worked with you and now they've come to the other side.
So let's say, for example, it might look like chronic dieting. So jumping from diet to diet to diet, jumping from trend to trend to trend, from fad to fad to fad, always working on their body or food or what they're eating, what they're putting in their mouth every day, right?
Let's name names. So we're talking about like, oh, we're doing keto now. Just kidding. Now vegetables are out to kill you. We're only eating meat and lard. Nope, just kidding. Get rid of all meat. Sugar's back, like, but don't have any carbs. No bread though. No, just kidding. Bread and potatoes are back, but absolutely eliminate all dairy. Oh no, now we're not eating all day until the hours between 2 and 2:30 p.m. Just kidding. Now we're eating all the protein that you could possibly get into your body minus 2 grams. Okay, now it's that.
Constant. And that leads to what we call food preoccupation, if we're thinking about it in clinical language. And that is, you know, the constant narrative. So let's say someone is out for a coffee with a friend and the friend says, ooh, those cakes look really good, will we get one? And the internal narrative is, I really shouldn't. I wonder how many calories that is. How much carbs did I have today? No, I'll just get it. Feck it. Actually, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe just half. Maybe just a quarter. Like that constant food preoccupation.
I remember it. I mean, dear children of God, please know that I've been through Niamh's course and it has helped me so much, and we're going to get to that.
Tell me what it was like for you before you started that process. What did disordered eating look like to you?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll match up with what you said about your beginning, which mine was slightly different. I had a mom that was into makeup and into fashion, and not that she was hard on me. She wasn't hard on me with diet or anything until I started to model. And even though I was a perfectly normal, healthy, even gorgeous weight, I always had to drop 20 pounds, which is ridiculous because it's like 40 pounds from here that everybody wanted me to be, which is also such an arbitrary number. So then they kind of got more on top of my food to help me because I was entering into this new world. So probably at 14, dieting started to really happen. It's not that I noticed her dieting. There wasn't really talk of that until I was 14. But I do remember, for instance, I think I told you this when we worked together, watching the Miss America pageant. And you got all the girls, like, on some exotic location when they're doing the swimsuit portion, and they're walking into place and then, like, standing by a waterfall or something. And I remember her saying, like, oh, her thighs are jiggling, her thighs are jiggling. Now, I have no idea what she meant. I took it to mean thighs aren't supposed to jiggle. And I think Shane would even agree that thighs are supposed to jiggle, aren't they?
Thighs are definitely meant to jiggle.
He is emphatically nodding. So, but here I am, this idea, like, oh, they're supposed to be so whatever. I don't even know. I'm so young. I'm probably 10 when I'm hearing this idea. And she might have just been thinking, like, oh yeah, mine jiggle, theirs jiggle, it's fine. Or maybe it was some sort of I don't know, but this is how I took it. Right? So then I was like, okay, well, thighs better not jiggle. Which, my God, people are making a lot of money from jiggly thighs these days. And,
I mean, the thigh gap was a thing when I was a teenager.
Oh, is that
still
not a thing anymore? I think it is still a thing for people, definitely, but I hear about it less. Yeah. And I think there's kind of more of a balance, because even with my own body, because I have thighs and a butt, and models have like really long, skinny legs, and I didn't have that. So you were always wanting that, but that was never going to be part of I have strong thighs that can save your fucking life, okay? This is how the good Lord made me, and it's great. I also have a husband now, whereas before I think I had boyfriends who also this is Los Angeles, who also like that body aesthetic. And again, I'm talking about this like I'm a hideous creature here, but it kind of starts to feel that way. And so I also have a husband who like loves my body, loves my thighs, loved my body pregnant, loved my body post-pregnancy, loved my body when I was ginormous and full of water and pitting edema. So that was very healing first step.
Yeah, I think relationships, like healthy, loving relationships. Esther Perel says...
love her.
She's great. The quality of our relationships define the quality of our lives.
100%. It's like the smartest choice.
Yeah.
The most important decision through and through. People are proving that.
So if your partner is very kind of wrapped up in diet culture and is very judgmental of their body, your body, other people's bodies,
yes,
and then you're dealing with disordered eating, you're dealing with a poor body image, that is going to deepen that disdain, right? And
absolutely.
And it's going to deepen the desire to be constantly wanting to fix the body, which leads us into disordered eating. Yeah. Because disordered eating and body image are so closely related.
Connected, exactly.
And I mean, we have lived very different lives, right? So you were, as a teenager, you were going into modeling, right? So you're in an industry that is all about appearance.
Yes.
And all about the body.
Yes. Body, face, all it. Yes. And in a way, you know what I do want to say about fashion? Throughout history, thicker women have always been what's considered beautiful. Really, only in recent years, and I mean like the last 50, whatever it is, I don't know the exact number, have really thin women who used to be considered disgusting and poor and malnourished and not beautiful have now become the hot thing. So you know what? It's also fair for them to have their moment, because I'm sure that back in the day, they were trying to put weight on and probably couldn't to look like the voluptuous, gorgeous women that were considered the beauty ideal back then. And now we're trying to starve ourselves to look like these women who are, by the way, mostly naturally shaped like this. Like the models that I knew, I promise you, they were not disordered eating. Yeah. They were eating whatever the hell they wanted. And okay, sure, maybe as they got older, they had to exercise more or put, let's say, healthier things in their body for the body to work well, but nothing to do with their body image. Put that there, over here, that doesn't mean still that they didn't have like some perfect ideal that even the biggest supermodels and top actresses don't have. So this isn't a thing that is just like, oh, the civilian women of the world are struggling for this. The ones that you're looking up to, the ones that you're trying to be exactly like, they're having the same exact thoughts in their heads, unless they're very lucky or unless they've done some work to start to love themselves and go like, this is ridiculous, which is what I came to. Thanks to you. So how I came to you, was that kind of what you originally were asking? So my algorithm, because my Instagram, of course, knows exactly what I'm feeling and thinking. So it was feeding me for a while. What was it, 22? Yeah. That we started. So all of a sudden, I'd never even heard of intuitive eating. All of a sudden, I started to see, whether it was TikTok or Instagram, all these creators who were talking about like, listen, you want some fried chicken on your salad? Put some fried chicken on your salad. Just have the salad as well. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's an interesting concept. Aren't you supposed to just hate yourself for even wanting the fried chicken on your salad?
Mm.
And she, this like blonde, maybe you've even seen her because you're in the world, like Blonde Bob or something. Coupled with women in bigger bodies, like all different colors, being like, you got a belly? Put on the tight dress. They can see it. Don't put the tight dress on. And I was like, go off, queen. I was like loving the things I was seeing. So that, and then Patty was like, oh, my friend Niamh is a nutritionist, and he was talking about how it wasn't even enough to be a nutritionist, because as you were starting to talk with people about food, you're like, this is more mental, this is more psychological than just, oh, I don't have willpower to get to the weight I want, or willpower to eat nutritious food. Because I'm sorry, cookies are yummier than broccoli any day. And I will take this to my grave. Like, this is how I feel about cookies. So anyway, so I came to you, and I was very overweight for me because I still had the baby. I had Phoenix. I was 44 when I had him. I couldn't drop the weight. My usual tricks were not working. I also breastfed a long time. So that meant that I was, I think, just holding on to fat longer. I think that, listen, again, I don't know who these bitches are that are like, I couldn't keep the weight on when I was breastfeeding. I was not one of you. I was eating sleeves of Oreos. That was my story. And I couldn't stop when I was like, this is so weird.
Mm.
So whatever I was missing in my body, whatever it was. But all the while I was loved by my husband. So all that was good. So I was kind of accepting my body. I was like, well, is this kind of my new body? But not all the way. I did want to get back to it for even practical reasons. I love fashion. I want to wear certain fashions. I'm sorry, they are not making the sizes that I was. Also because I'm very tall, so that means I'm a bigger size anyway than somebody's whose proportions are exactly the same, but is 6 inches shorter than me. So I wanted to wear the things in my closet. I wanted to wear fashions, and I couldn't do that. So, but I wasn't hating on myself, but I was constantly thinking about food. Where it's like, oh, don't do it, do it, but I want it so much, but you shouldn't have. Fuck it, I'm gonna have 3 of them then, and now what? Do you know, like. You know the drill. So then I started to work with you. And what did I do? Did you suggest, because your book wasn't out yet, you had me read Intuitive Eating.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the book?
Yeah. I probably did. And then I had the course, right?
There was like a course I had to do. And modules, exactly.
But then it was the one-to-one too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you asked me questions like, well, I don't even remember, because I know how it felt. I don't remember how to talk about what you do every day. So tell me what you did. You can tell me what you did with me.
How did it feel?
It felt like, what it felt like was that I was getting control back of the ludicrousness, if that's a word, like the ridiculousness, the insanity of what we're all forced to deal with, which is diet culture. That people don't even realize that it's this fake thing, because it is so normal that you're like, what do you mean diet culture? That's just life.
Yeah.
Do you know? And what I liked about that original book, whoever they had reading it was hilarious, because she'd be like, oh, so you're not going to have that extra piece of cake? Nice try, diet culture. No, it was like this, like, you ain't getting near me. It was really
Do you know
great.
the amount of people that have said to me, because the Intuitive Eating book is the Bible. It's by the founders of Intuitive Eating, Evelyn Tribbley and Elise Resch.
Yes.
It's a hefty book. Like, there's a lot
I
in
listened
there.
to it.
But the amount of people that said to me, but it's not their voice, and I can't connect. So that when I was writing my book, and I was doing the audio, and I was traveling at the time, and the publisher wanted to get an actor in to do the voiceover, and I was like, absolutely not. I need to record it. It needs to be my voice, because I'm online. People know me. They know my voice. I have a podcast, and then people have said that to me afterwards. I'm so glad you're narrating it, and it's not somebody else, because it creates this disconnect. Like, wait, who is this person?
I guess I don't know the authors, so and I'm also an actor, so I'm used to people doing it. Who they picked was just, to me, she she was not having any of anyone's foolishness. She was just like,
She was embodying
no
it.
way, diet culture. Like her attitude was just like, get out of my face with
Yeah.
this nonsense,
Yeah.
diet culture.
Love it.
It was like a really good. So I kept laughing throughout it. It was really helpful. Working with you. I'll tell you what I got out of it, and then you can tell me how I got there. Because it's been a minute now since we worked. What I got out of it was just this acceptance of different bodies, this acceptance of, and it made me go like, I don't ever need to be that thin again. Which I don't even think was that thin because my mind is so crazy, but like, I don't need to be the size I was at 21. There is no need for it. Do you know? Even one of my model friends was like, and I was like, no, I'm good now. I really like my body. She's like, oh, you're not going to go more. And she is still a working model. Like she can't even conceive of it. She's gorgeous, stunning, but, has her own disordered eating. It is just so prevalent. And I was like, no, and it was kind of cool to be able to say like, no,
It's liberating.
I'm great. Well, what we were after was peace, right?
Yeah. Food peace, body peace. It's always like the goal, which is a tough
peace.
Totally. Yes. And it's so liberating. Do you know, it's so freeing.
Yes.
And we've talked about this before, Ivana, like it is, maybe more challenging for some women than others because we all, we might work in different arenas, in different industries. We might have different types of relationships. We might have different backgrounds. We might have had different parents, like all of these things, because when we're talking about body image, we're talking about our relationship with the self. And our relationship with the self is impacted by so many things outside of ourselves, right?
Yes.
So it may be different from person to person, but when you even get a taste of that liberation, like it's amazing. It really is.
You can't go back.
No.
It's hard to go back. Like I think it's one of those floors you reach that you once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Yeah. Once you've experienced it, it's not going to work anymore. Because I have my husband. Again, it'd be difficult if my husband was like, oh, I remember when I met you when you were 28 but that he literally says, I love all the Ivanas. You can't understand how much that heals a person.
Totally.
Do you know? Yeah. Because of like how imperfect, how never good enough I was for the industries. Yeah. And they're just doing their own job. Like it's problematic, but whatever, y'all are making money doing what you're doing. Like, and we're all changing it a little bit. I see your big girls on the Chanel runways. I see your older ladies. Like, things are changing, and it's probably because of people like you, creators like the ones I saw. They're like, guess what? This is great.
Yeah.
I do remember growing up though, like African-American women in America who'd be like wearing hot pink short dresses, big bodies. And I do remember seeing this because this had an impact on me in a good way. I remember seeing it and being like, because they were like, I am hot as hell. If you don't think so, clearly the problem is with you.
And that has a real, when your normality has been the opposite, when you see that, it's like, oh my God, we could actually,
we're allowed
like,
to just
like ourselves. Like what?
Yep.
It really does make such a big difference. But I think the relationship piece, ever since I was a teenager, and I probably got this from, I'd say, family or, no, I know where I got this actually. I got it from, like the tabloid magazines, cellulite being the worst thing in the world.
Totally. And it was all the time, like cellulite watch.
Yes. Oh, and think about these beautiful women that were
just like, trying to frolic in the water. Just trying to have fun in the water.
And so obviously, right? So then over time as I was a teenager, and still even today, cellulite is a thing that is a thing for me. Because I've always had it no matter what size I was. It's it's just part of my body, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a different thing. I know much bigger people than you or I that have none.
Yeah.
So it's not even about weight.
Totally.
Yeah.
And 90% of women have some level of cellulite, right?
I don't have any, but just kidding.
But my partner is like, he just, because my cellulite will be like on my ass and the backs of my legs. And
Stop it, you're turning me on.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Describing it. But he just like loves my ass. It's like his favorite part of my body. So, I totally emulate what you're saying about relationships being healing. Like certain types of relationships when you have poor body image can really help you heal.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I wanted to talk about something really important. And I was like, and it just left my mind because of perimenopause. But it would be I can't just sit here and talk about the fact that you only helped me, that how I lost some weight that I wanted to let go of, that I wanted to let go of wasn't just because of you working with me with food and body image. It was also because ultimately I did go on Ozempic. And I did not tell you because I probably I was feeling like, oh, because when we were talking about it towards the end of our sessions, it was starting to come up. And do you remember I was furious about it? I was like, fuck, there's now the new, whatever was the ideal because is now even lower. Now you're supposed to even be skinnier and I can't even drop my freaking baby weight. And I think what was happening, which is why it became so public, was because already very thin actresses and models, I think, were using it and they were starting to get really skinny. And I was like, ugh, what is the new line?
Yeah.
But I think that stopped because they all lost their butts and they were starting to have Ozempic face. So now I think it seems to be more of in terms of people like me who is not a diabetic and is not, I don't think I was close to having the BMI that people are like, all right, fine, you can have it for that BMI. But I was absolutely overweight and approaching whatever is obesity per my size, which I know the BMI thing isn't even, I guess it's all we have to go on because I did try to find like a DEXA scan that could scan my body to see like, is my fat the kind of fat that's dangerous whether you're skinny or overweight, or am I one of those people in a bigger body that's like amazing? So I talked to my doctor about it and she was like, yeah, I think we should try it. Why? Because I was overweight. 2, because my blood pressure was high, really high. And 3, my cholesterol was it was just like a little bit, but it was my blood pressure because I also have polycystic kidneys. So she was like, okay. So I was like, okay, let's try it because a lot of people can't take it because they don't feel well. And by the way, this is all the injectables. I'm saying Ozempic because it's become like Kleenex, but we mean all, what are they? What do you call them?
GLP-1s.
GLP-1s or... weight loss injections.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I tried it with the doctor little by little, and immediately the biggest thing that I noticed, in addition to what we were working on, was the quieting of the brain around food and alcohol. I'm not a big drinker. This isn't like a problem for me. But the quieting of the brain around food, where you're just like, I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, and they were having the same experience. And we were all models. We were all noisy about food. And we all were like, I don't care if I lose a pound. The peace that has come over me is just worth it enough, right? So the combo. Now, why it was good for me to have it in addition with the work we did together is because without that, I might have been like, oh, I'm going to keep upping my Ozempic dose until I am 120 American pounds, do you know? And I would have never stopped. But with this, it was just like, I'm just going to a little bit. It really, for me, I found it very helpful. You do lose your butt immediately. So if people are going to take it, you got to almost work out harder. First of all, listen, I'm 50, so we need to be working our muscles. There is no escaping that. But I think I know a lot of people in LA, they're not working out, especially the young girls that are doing it.
Yeah.
And they look gorgeous because they've got so much collagen because they're little babies, but no one's working out. No one's got a butt. No one's working out. Yeah. This is not how God intended it to be used.
Yeah.
But I cannot say enough about it for myself, the experience. Do you have any questions about it?
You didn't have any side effects, right?
Not really. Not at all. Like, if anything, do I kind of feel like the amount of nausea I feel sometimes, I don't think is any different than the amount of nausea I might feel sometimes without it.
And this is, firstly, I would say that weight loss injections are a very emotive topic.
Yes, and tell me your point of view.
And I want to be, very kind of sensitive as we're kind of moving into this part of our conversation.
Yes.
But unfortunately, for some people, I work with disordered eating and poor body image every day of the week. So, I do have people who have chosen to go on weight loss injections, and that feeling of nervousness of telling me is always there, right? But it's not my job to tell you to not do weight loss injections. It's not my job to tell you to do weight loss injections. I'm on neither side of this. It's more about exploring what does it mean to you? What is your intention?
Mm-hmm.
Let's like explore it and let's manage it. Let's monitor it, because managing someone's relationship with medication is so, so important. And what
Yeah.
kind of foundation have they already built before choosing to do this? Because that can make a huge difference as well.
Yes.
Um, but for a lot of people, the weight loss or the side effects, excuse me, are extreme.
And they're prohibitive. They can't even.
No, like their quality of life completely plummets. Nausea, diarrhea, constipation, hunger completely disappearing, which as a disordered eating nutritionist is like red flag for me.
Right.
And also, I was talking about this yesterday in clinic, like the symbolic meanings of our cravings.
I've heard one of your podcasts talk about that, like where she was talking about how somebody who was giving up alcohol liked licorice
amazing.
candies, and it's like never liked licorice before, but now wants liquor.
Yes, yeah. So that's Anita Johnston. She is amazing, and our cravings for food can give us so much information as to what's actually going on underneath. So
chocolate, what does that tell us?
Well, chocolate usually. Are you ready for this answer?
Yeah.
Chocolate.
It's okay.
Chocolate usually is linked to sensuality, linked to romance.
I have so much, but I am a Taurus, so I'm a glutton for all of this. Like, you cannot love me enough or cuddle me enough or give me enough chocolate snacks. So you can enough now, but like,
it's been amazing though, actually, when I've explored this in clinic with people. And let's say somebody comes to me and they are constantly craving a certain food. Now obviously we'll work through physical, like I often talk about physical, mental and emotional layers. So we'll work through the physical layer, which is, are you nourished? Are you getting enough food in and enough variety of different foods, so that if you're in a state of hunger, physical hunger, you will want these foods constantly. So we want to make sure that you're nourished first and foremost. Then mentally, that's where we work on everything we've been talking about around diet culture, the idea of the body, how we relate to food, our beliefs around food. Like, do you believe foods are good or bad, or do they have like morality attached to them?
Yeah.
And then there's the emotional piece. So when I've explored this with people, chocolate comes up many times. And when I ask questions around sex and sexuality and sensuality, it is absolutely amazing what comes out from it.
Oh, interesting. Can you give an example?
Yeah, let's say, for example, somebody is constantly craving chocolate, and I've brought up this conversation around sex and sensuality. And when it can be romance in with another person, it can be with the self, it can be just sensuality in life, not even related to sex, but related to intimacy. So I remember I had a client years ago, and I brought this up, and it opened up this whole conversation with this person about her relationship at the time and how they were just on a complete drought. So I'm like, interesting how chocolate is coming in now in the middle of a sexual drought in your relationship.
Interesting.
So when we had this conversation, then it paved the way for being able to have that conversation in the relationship, and then opened up a whole kind of piece of healing. Because, a drought of a sexual intimacy, if there hasn't been a drought, usually points to what's going on here. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And whether it's health or problems in the relationship,
totally,
something.
Totally. Yeah, it can be in the relationship, it can be with the individual. So this is what I worry that we might lose if somebody completely suppresses their appetite.
Please don't worry. On Ozempic, I have lots of chocolate still, and lots of sex, and intimacy and snuggles. So,
and you're one of the lucky ones, I guess, that didn't have
so.
that side effect of it just disappearing. Your cravings, your hunger, just your appetite, just gone. Because
no, I just want less of it all.
Yeah.
For me. So I do think that I'm a very lucky candidate here, because me wanting all of it but less of it makes me feel like a normal person. What I mean by that is, like, the girls, like Catherine, my co-host on Notions, we were talking about this one of the other times, and she was like, yeah, I remember hearing about a woman who's like, oh, well, I have it. Well, just 2 pieces of chocolate. And she's like, why not have the whole bar, or none of the bar? And I was like, what are you even talking about? You're not making sense. You are unhinged. Like, is this how you view chocolate? She's like, yeah. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And listen, she exercises a lot. She's a woman, so she wants to look hot and skinny in clothes, because that is just a directed thing for people who are into fashion at that level. Do you know? So I don't want to vilify. Yes, we need to keep changing it and including more bodies. And also there is an aesthetic that is also beautiful. Like, let's not,
Totally.
get rid of the beautiful thin women rocking around with those beautiful outfits.
And I think that like it's there needs to be space for everyone.
Everyone.
All sides of the weight spectrum.
Yes.
I don't think we should be hating on thin women. I don't think we should be hating on fat women. Like, we need to know that body diversity is a thing and it exists and it's normal.
Yes.
And our bodies shift and change as we move through life, and that's also normal. We've been taught that it's not and that we need to fix it and maintain it, but it is.
Absolutely.
It's normal.
It is so normal. And actually, I want to, when people are fat shaming or fat phobic, it actually drives me bananas for a couple reasons. One, you shamer do not have the same fucking brain as that person. It is not, and which is something that we've learned now with, I think, at least I'm hearing more about it with Ozempic. I'm sure this is stuff you've already learned about because of what your job is. Yeah. But my brain is not the same as that person's brain. Yeah. How I see what is enough for me is not what's enough for them. Yeah. I remember hearing about people who are like, well, like, I just eat what I want. And I was like, wow, that's because I'm thinking what I want. And I'm like, wait. How much do you want? And what do you want? And they're like, I just want like a little salad. And I'm like, wow, that's what you want? They're like, that's what I want. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I want a sandwich. Okay, with cheese on it. And do you know?
Yeah. So which is like, okay, by the way.
which is of course okay. I'm just saying they're different things with different nutritional values and different joy. And but both of us are getting the same joy as far as food is supposed to also give you some joy. Yeah. Not just fuel and all of that. So it drives me bananas because people I still hear to this day in 2025 still talking about like they don't have willpower. They're just not working hard enough. They've let themselves go. I was like, you do not know. You are not walking in this people's shoes.
And this is weight bias and prejudice. We often say in kind of the non-diet community that fat phobia is the last acceptable form of prejudice. And it can be very unconscious and very implicit. But it's really important to do some work on that and to look at that, because that doesn't just hurt other people, it hurts everyone, because
of course it hurts yourself, it hurts the person who's being prejudiced.
Totally. And I mean,
you're not helping anyone.
Your body, just because your body looks the way it is now doesn't mean it will always be that way, because our bodies are not static. Our bodies are shifting and changing and moving and growing and expanding and contracting. That's just normal part of life, right? Yes. So that's what I mean by it doesn't just hurt others, it hurts everyone in every size body, because it maintains this unattainable standard and this unattainable idea that we can fully control our weight, which is just not true.
It's just not true.
We can influence it 100%. Like, have you got a healthy relationship with food? Like we're talking about. Do you consistently engage in health promoting behaviors? That's going to massively
like exercise,
exercise and like eating nutritious food and managing your stress and looking after your self-care. All of that will influence your weight. It's not actually just about food. It's about what's your lifestyle like? What is your stress levels like? How do you manage that in your life? There's so many things that go into weight, not just, the food you eat and the movement you do.
And if anyone out there is still thinking like, oh, they just need to work harder, whatever, just know that your judgment is going to make you ugly. And I actually mean that. That's actually true. I know I'm not a psychotherapist, so I don't have to choose my words carefully. I can speak plainly.
Freely.
Yeah, for me, for myself. These views do not necessarily reflect those of Niamh Orbinski.
Another thing is that we've talked about, though, is the shame. Let's talk about the shame.
Yes.
Because
I had shame even getting my Ozempic.
Yeah.
So finally I was like, okay, I'm going to get it, right? Well, I know that this isn't the only thing, but also it's shame, so it counts. Yeah. Right? So even when I was about to do it, when I would go into the pharmacies, they were like, no, we don't have any. And I was like, okay, well, you don't know my story. You don't know what I'm, coming here for. Or they'd be like, do we still have any Ozempic? Like shouting it out. And I was like, wow, good thing I'm not here for like hemorrhoid medicine or something. Like they're like, do we have any more hemorrhoid medicine, Joanne? Like so it was So it was like and I was like, but then I get really stubborn about it. I was like, I'm walking in and I'm going to, get my stuff.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah, it's a heavy topic, and we don't need to dive deep into the psychotherapeutic kind of
We
idea
can.
of
We
shame.
can.
But I've obviously talked to a lot of people who are experiencing challenging relationship with food and with their body, and weight loss injections has come into the conversation. I also put up on my social media there last week or the week before just to ask, like, what has been your experience with it? And the most common theme coming through was shame.
Wait, with Ozempic?
Yes.
Specifically?
Yes.
Oh, tell me.
So like the people that I work with, right? Not like I work with people across the weight spectrum, but people in larger bodies. So if you think about who Ozempic is traditionally for, right, is a person of a certain BMI with maybe an associated health condition, right? And people who live in larger bodies, like the further you go up the weight spectrum, the more weight stigma you are exposed to.
Of course.
So what I mean by that is, for example, I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me on the Lewis years ago. Got into the Lewis. I was doing a yin yoga teacher training at the time, so I was in my my yoga gear and had my yoga mat. It was like 7:00 in the morning, and
wow, you are again a hero.
Yeah.
Go on.
And definitely not a morning person now, but and anyway, got into the Lewis, sat down, and then this older lady got in onto the Lewis, and she was sitting down beside me, but she was like getting her cushions ready, and I was getting off in 2 stops, and I was on the inside. So I said to her, look, I'm getting out in 2 stops. Do you want to sit on the inside? Because, then I don't want to be disturbing you.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, no. I don't want to do that, because then one of those big people will sit beside me. Or maybe she said one of those fat people will sit beside me. One or the other anyway.
What did you do?
And I just I kind of froze.
Of course.
This was years ago. This was kind of probably,
plus you're Irish.
Yeah. How do we deal with these situations?
Yeah.
And I probably would handle that differently now. I think this was like about 8 years ago, maybe 7 years ago. And it was just really interesting to me because,
wow,
imagine, and then, no, sorry, another part of the story. And then she had this kind of look of disgust on her face. And then she turned to me and she kind of looked me up and down. And she went, and aren't you gorgeous? Where are you going now this morning? Oh, your skin is beautiful. It was just like, and it was amazing, the shift in how she was perceiving me versus how she was perceiving maybe somebody in a larger body. And when we talk about morality attached to size and health and the food we eat and the way we move, this is what I'm talking about. So I think that weight stigma is something that a lot of people in large bodies experience, right? Yeah. So, and that comes with a lot of shame. So that's an experience of weight stigma. A large person gets onto a Lewis and they get these looks, right?
Like, not here.
Yeah,
don't sit
and the
here.
Lewis seats are tiny.
Anyway,
like they're like you're kind of hanging off anyway. Even if you're
a child.
You're hanging off a seat,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
But this is, and it's heartbreaking because I've sat, I have thin privilege, but I have sat with people who don't have thin privilege for years, totally. And the shame, the pain, the suffering of it, and we have, as everyone, we have such influence and power by uprooting our own weight stigma and uprooting our own weight bias and trying to make everyone feel comfortable and safe in the body that they are in. When, I feel like, I've had conversations with clients about this. So people in larger bodies are already feeling shame.
Yeah, don't worry.
And now they feel shame because they're trying Ozempic. And I'm like, oh my God, like there's no let up. Like.
Well, you know what? And I can understand that as well, because there was so much backlash on Ozempic, like even listening to Diary of a CEO, because I was, of course, doing a lot of research. What are people saying? And always what comes up is that's cheating. And I was like, again, can we compare all of our brains? Because why is it not cheating that you have that brain and I have this brain, or that person has that brain? Like, do you know? Because I'm still pretty thin privilege minus
totally. Yeah.
Post baby, and minus the fact that I have such a crazy point of view about it growing up in fashion and Hollywood and everything. I don't like it when people the I don't know how you feel about this. Tell me, because what I'm going to say is probably controversial, and at least coming from America, LA, whatever. Unfortunately, the fact still is that thinner people get the job. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can understand if somebody's like, you know what? I want to be part of this club a little bit more, whether they've never been thinner or they need to lose weight because of some part of life that happened. Because I hear this across from, like, if you're a classical musician and you play the frickin' violin like an angel, and like, well, the skinnier girl's going to get that spot.
Oh, it's
Do you
so
know what I'm saying?
problematic, like,
It is
isn't
hugely
it?
problematic. And I'm so glad. And I think that the needle is moving. I think that
Yeah.
there is change. But for the most part, I guess all I'm saying is, and I know you're neutral and do be, I guess what I'm saying on this side is somebody who has used Ozempic and exercises and tries to put healthy things in my body
And worked on your
and
relationship
puts
with
chocolate
food.
and worked on my relationship with
Yeah.
food and my body image with you and books and people on Instagram. I still say with your doctor, if you think that you would like to try Ozempic, I'm going to be that girlfriend that's like, you go. And do not listen to the people who are like, that's cheating. It's like, no, it's another tool, like how people who need insulin get that hormone and people who need some thyroid help get that hormone. This is a hormone-based thing. It doesn't make you speedy. And I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying, if you are inspired to try it to see what it's like, I understand and I see you. Do you know? Like,
Yeah, and I think we really need to come at this without judgment.
exactly. And even I was judging it in the beginning. I'm like, for fuck's sake.
And but
You know?
but maybe it's more, as was I, because more so from never on the individual,
No.
but more on collectively, what does this mean? You know, Ozempic is kind of, and weight loss injections have kind of changed the game a bit. So I'm like, what does this mean for this really important work that we're all doing, which is we want to accept ourselves?
I think it's even more important still.
Oh,
I think it's
even more
I
so.
think it's even more important still. One of the things that apparently was happening in America is because America has a very unhealthy obese problem. We're not talking about, we're saying like, we're in a, what is it called? Some kind of a culture where it's almost hard to put healthy things in your body. I think it's a lot easier here. What is it?
Obesogenic.
Obesogenic, right? So we're like, you're not even getting a chance, like a fair shot. Forget body image, love your body. You're not even getting a vegetable, right? So
Is it very different in America
Yes.
to here? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Even me, and I love sugar.
Yeah.
Like that would be my drug of choice.
Yeah.
After spending time here, when I go there, I'm like, oh my God, the sweetness.
Wow.
I can, even like in a cookie.
Okay.
Even
yeah.
in a cookie, forget the dressings. I like to make my own dressings, but like forget that it's in everything.
Yeah.
Even when you're having a thing that is supposed to be sweet, you're like, whoa, and I can handle it. And my pancreas can actually handle it.
Like I love sweet foods, but like I also, you know, I was thinking about when you were asking me, you know, what are my notiony things, and like good expensive tomatoes.
Same.
Oh my God.
Salt.
Oh,
That's all it needs.
a little bit of
Oh my God,
sprinkle.
look at you. A little bit tomato and olive oil Europe over here. That's like Croatian's old jam.
Oh my God, I am obsessed with like really good tomatoes. And I love sweet foods and I love like savory foods and I love takeaways. But I couldn't eat them all the time. Like
Sure.
if I was around that constantly and I didn't have access to
Yes.
fresh fruit and
There are
vegetables.
places in America that do not have access where they can walk to a grocery store, but they can walk to a fast food joint.
Yeah, like so.
Okay, so sorry, what do we, here you guys don't even have drive-thrus. You have to go like on a journey.
we have to drive, yeah.
Somewhere, and then you're like, you know what I mean? Like I want nut butter one day to be like, there's Burger King, McDonald's, nut butter.
Yeah.
All drive-through. Wouldn't that be amazing? So you have a choice.
Imagine nut butter in a drive-through.
I know. I was telling Patty all the time. But it's
Wow.
not time yet, but it's going to be time.
I would. Oh my God, that would be amazing. Because nut butter's on like the opposite side of the city to me. So unless I'm
know.
over there,
More are coming. More are coming, girl.
I'm so excited.
So a place like Walmart, right, that has a pharmacy, you can get Ozempic. And so now this is a place that has a unique data set. They see now that as Ozempic goes up, food consumption is going down, but like junky stuff, because I think a lot of people report they don't feel bad when they eat good food. They feel bad I'm not a big fried food eater, a potato chip once in a while, but I'm not like fried chicken, I bake everything, right?
Yeah.
But I think like a lot of people report if they're eating more healthy, they don't have the upsets. But if they're eating that crap, you know, just food that's fun but has low nutritional value, the food that you don't want to eat all the time because it's not healthy, right? That is lowering. Right? So they can, so you know that those big companies are going to be like, what, how are we going to get these people back addicted to this food? So America again is like a different story, I think, compared to here. I think here it's a lot easier.
Yeah, and you know, education, you know, will only bring us so far. You know, what is our socioeconomic status? What access do we have to certain foods? You know, but definitely I think education plays a role in terms of, you know, like it was even interesting when I met my partner first, and like I've always loved food.
Yay.
And I like exploring different flavors. And
you're a big traveler.
Yeah. So it's like I've got it from like lots of different countries and things like that. And I'm a queen at creating a meal from nothing.
Oh, me too.
Isn't it the best skill?
I love it. Exactly.
Yeah. So like I'll be like, can we maybe put a bit of this in? Maybe put a bit of this. It needs like I had something the other day.
I can smell it and go.
It needs this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the other night it needed a citrus kind of a zest, and I didn't have a lemon or a lime. I was like, will I put some orange juice in? Will I kind of hit it the same way? And my partner was like, where did you learn? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like.
How do you know to do this?
Yeah. And then I was thinking, wow, actually, where did I learn how to do this? And it's like all these layers of education. As a child, I used to like cook with my granny. And then as a teenager, I did home economics in school.
Home ec.
Boys don't do home economics, or they didn't when I was in school because it was a girl
There's always a few smart ones that were there with the girls.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Shane.
But and then I was so interested in food and I explored it, and it's just been layering. You know, obviously I'm a nutritionist, so food is a big thing. But it's really important, you know, that sense of education and that knowledge around food and how to make food taste good. Because there's this myth that healthy food doesn't taste good, and if you've been to nut butter, you will know
that is not exactly very good.
So. Absolutely, healthy food and nutritious food can taste amazing.
Yep.
Like the best meals I've had in my life have been considered healthy, right?
Absolutely.
And then leave you feeling like in your body, just feeling amazing,
tingly even.
But if you don't have the skills around cooking,
or access, and once you have access, you have absolutely.
It makes such a big difference. So you know, there's. Basically, what we're getting to, Ivana, is that there's so many different reasons why somebody is the way they is, why their relationship with food and their body is the way they is, why their weight is the way that it is.
Yes.
Some of it is within our control. A lot of it is not.
Exactly. Yeah. What's your sign?
Aries.
When is your birthday again? Tell me.
29th of March.
Okay, you're a March one coming up. Okay. And what's your favorite color? Are you a pink or purple girl?
Oh, I'm a red, kind of a red girl.
Vixen, I love it. I'm gonna get deeper into you. And tell me, is there a boyfriend that your outfit hates? Is there an outfit that your man hates that you love and you like to wear all the time? What does he make fun of?
Oh, there's nothing that I wear that he doesn't like.
Okay.
But he hates when I wear lipstick.
Somebody else was saying that. I think Patty doesn't love it when I wear lipstick too much either. Like a little something, but not like a red lip. They're like,
oh my gosh,
who are you? I look like a hooker.
No, it's actually not, because he can't kiss me when I have red lipstick on, and it drives him insane.
Well, that is a good reason to drive him insane. He should be able to kiss you whenever the hell he wants, and that's what I believe.
Yeah, so like anytime I'm wearing lipstick, unless it's a nude, he is not happy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I like that. I can't wait to meet him. Did you ever tell me what notions you have?
Yeah,
the audacity.
Loads of notions.
Do you?
Do you know what's really interesting though? They're all food related.
Okay.
Not all of them actually.
Okay.
I actually asked Shane, my boyfriend, about this as well, because I was like, I know I have notions, I just can't think of them off the top of my head. So I'm kind of known for notions in my family nearly.
Ooh, she's got notions, everyone. I love that. I love that. I love this whole notions concept in Ireland. I can't get enough of it.
So obviously the spenny tomatoes. Of course. Shane said when I go into Fallon and Burnham, but
far from fancy tomatoes, you were reared, okay, in Ireland.
Yeah, Fallon and Burn bread. He's like,
yum.
Such notions. What else? I love Marlborough white wine.
Cigarettes? What? Just kidding. Joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Imagine.
Yeah.
That'd be gas. Hiding my cigarettes.
Yeah,
Because I'm
exactly.
nutritious.
Just exactly.
Like whenever I go into a restaurant, I'm like, can I have a glass of Marlboro? And they look at me like,
Oh,
what? And
yeah,
I'm
I
like,
love it. You're like, but you're an Aries. You're a fire sign. You're able to like, you're well able to be like, I said what I said.
yeah.
Open a few bottles. Let me taste which one's the best one.
It's so true. It's so true.
I love it.
I also, this is definitely not a food thing, but expensive toilet roll.
Well, my God, you're not going to sandpaper your most precious bits, are
There
you?
is a lot of people that think it's absolutely outrageous to spend too much money on toilet paper.
Let's just say a little prayer for them. Dear God, bless their bits with more softness, but not
Oh, God.
aroma, no perfumes, just soft, beautiful. It can
Yes.
be bamboo.
But look, I just feel like I love my body too much.
I love that you love your body. I think it's beautiful, and you need to treat it accordingly.
Yeah, exactly. But like,
Couldn't agree more.
Toilet roll.
I love it. You do have notions. You are welcome here anytime. I love it.
Oh my God.
Oh, should we tell people do you want to tell them to please subscribe if they like because I've seen you do that on your podcast. So what do I say? I say, hey guys, why don't you heart it if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts? Like, I don't know, give a little review, ask us a question, tell us how you're feeling. Do you have a good recipe? Anything like that. Or on like Spotify, what do they need? Then we need like lots of hearts or something. Hearts.
Yeah, you need to like
thumbs ups.
rate the podcast on Spotify. Obviously, 5
Give it
stars.
100. I mean, 5 stars. We'll take 5 stars, and then we will take those winnings and go gambling in Vegas with it. Thank you so much for coming. You're my very first guest.
Wow, it's an honor.
Oh, thank you. I love you so much. You've really helped my life. Anything you want to add? You want to tell the people of God where to find you?
Yeah, so my podcast is Food, Body and Beyond. You'll find that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. My book is No Apologies.
And do not apologize. Go on.
Paperback, Audible, and ebook. So on Kindle as well. I'm most active on Instagram at Nutrition with Niamh, and my website is nutritionwithniamh.com.
Oh my God, you're so good. And for those in America, Niamh is spelled with like M's and H's. It's like Niamh. It is ridiculous, but now you know in case you're trying to find her in America. God bless.
Absolute notions. Absolute.
Do you know what my favorite thing is about nut butter? Besides the fact that vegans and carnivores can eat together happily, joyfully. Because usually you've got carnivores at a vegan restaurant and the carnivores are upset, or you've got vegans at a carnivore restaurant and the vegans are just having a baked potato. Not at Nut Butter. They can be together. It's a plant-based by design menu, but then you can put on real brisket. You can put on real chicken, or maybe you want a vegan chili, but all of it is food. And the other thing that's amazing about it, no jiggly bits. I hate jiggly bits. The team at Nut Butter go through their meat very carefully so everything is like the yummiest, most beautiful parts of the meat that you can enjoy with the vegetables. Good, clean, actual food. You can feed it to your children every day. Nut Butter. Eat rainbows.